States, um, they have pretty much, I've watched over the course of this war, I watched them pretty much paint themselves into a corner, alienate themselves. They've been, I'll be honest, this is even before the war started. I watched the United States kind of like pretty much put itself on its own island, man. And what I mean is the way they've been treating their NATO allies. This goes to the Greenland thing. Going there trying to strong arm Greenland away from, and this is a NATO, Greenland was protected by a NATO nation, it was kind of like, Greenland was like a small part of Denmark. And the U.S. was ready to go in there and take Greenland. And that caused a rift with the NATO nations. And then now fast forward to this Iran war. Now Trump goes back and tries to ask for their help, some of those nations. And them nations ain't messing with the United States. They like, no, you go at it and do what you need to do. You helped start some of this mess, then you go clean it up. Don't try to involve us. That's pretty much what they're saying. And the United States then says, well, we don't need them anyway. Well, obviously you do, because if you didn't need them, you would never ask them. If you was high and almighty, you don't need anybody for help. You the great US of A. You don't need the tiny NATO nations to help you, right? And that's just my point. They have painted themselves into a corner because now the only thing they know how to do, the only thing they could do is just either bow out of this war or go head up, full steam ahead, and just crash out. That's the only option that this country has, because it looks like the tiny hat nation has probably left the U.S. holding its own nuts. I think, it's just like, I look at this whole thing like, you got a little brother that's starting all of this, starts a lot of beef in the streets, and then he runs and go gets his bigger brother because he knows his bigger brother going to fight his battles for him, or at least throw the most punches for him while he throws punches behind the scenes, or he throws the less punches and let his brother handle all of the real smoke. And when things get real heavy, he starts to like back out a little bit and let the big brother take a brunt of the hits. And this is how I see the tiny hat nation with the U.S. But the U.S. also, in its own right, I think a lot of the stuff that they've done to a lot of these Middle Eastern countries, I think a lot of it was influenced by the tiny hat nation. But there's still probably things I think that, I'd say 95%, but there's 5% of it is, I think the U.S. on its own accord has went in there and tried to do things with those people as well. So, but I think most of it is influence. That's why people call the United States of the tiny hat nation. Let's put it that way. I can kind of see why people would say that. But the U.S. has definitely backed themselves into a corner with this one, man. Sometimes when you have too much pride and you overestimate your own abilities and you underestimate the enemy or who you perceive to be the enemy, that can be a serious miscalculation. And then you, at some point, you like, damn, I can't go back now. Especially if your pride is too big, you have a reputation to uphold. You can't make yourself look weak. You have to, whatever the case is. And unfortunately, our U.S. troops are going to be the ones to be used as, cannon fodder, but kind of like used as to try to prove a point to the world, so to speak. Like, well, we're going to show you what strength is. Yeah, we got ourselves in this, but we are the mighty U.S. government. We the mighty U.S. military, and we about to unload the full power of our potential. And you hear Trump kind of saying that a lot too. So they're going to use these Marines. I don't think it's going to end well, but they're going to use the Marines to crash out, man. I think that's going to be the start of the official like we're gonna see the real crash out. I think the United States is desperate right now because of what's going on with the Strait of Hormuz, the petrodollar, stuff like that. So I think they're kind of like desperate, man. So it's just crazy. Definitely something to pay attention to, man. Next coming months are very critical in geopolitical politics and the way everything is the landscape is gonna reshape itself, and it's doing it now. If you're paying attention, you can see that the landscape is definitely changing, and not in the favor of the U.S. either. But anyway, let me know what you think, man, about this. Has the U.S. painted itself into a corner, and has it alienated itself from its friends? And now it kind of exposes the Greenland thing, kind of like exposes the true colors of the U.S. government. Now, the NATO countries looking at us like, see, we can't rock with you like that. We can't trust you. It's like a bunch of bank robbers rob banks, and then you got the one bank robber. He goes and he tries to steal and hold his partners at gunpoint to take all of their money. It's the same thing, man. It's crazy. You can't trust people like that, and you stab them in the back like that, man. That's crazy. But let me know how you feel, man. This is Rebel World News. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like the video, share everything. I'll catch y'all later on the next one. Y'all stay safe.